Alrighty, hello. Happy Wednesday. You notice this one's a little bit different than our past, or our videos in the past, right? Because this is just a YouTube video, right? This is different because it's not a play pause it. There's just going to be a exit slip at the end that you'll have to fill out about scene 4. It will have to do with dreams, okay? And the role of dreams in different characters' lives. We're gonna meet, really for the first time, one of Romeo's best friends, Mercutio, okay? And Mercutio has a different perspective on dreams than Romeo does. And so it's just important that while we are reading through this today, that you kind of keep hold of that, okay? And keep that in the back of your head so that you can understand the role of dreams to both of them, okay? Just to recap, scene 2 and scene 3, which what we read yesterday, scene 2 is all about Capulet, so the head of the Capulet house, saying, you know what, we're going to throw a party for our friend Paris. Paris is the guy who wants to marry Juliet, okay? And basically Romeo and Benvolio found this list of people on there. At this party, there's going to be Rosaline, who is Romeo's former love, okay? But at the same time, in scene 3, we learned that Juliet is going to meet Paris at the same party. So Romeo and Juliet are going to be at the same party looking for different people, okay? Scene 4 is all about the boys, okay? Romeo, Benvolio, and Mercutio going through the streets and walking over to the party. Okay, so Romeo and Benvolio are going to the Capulets' party with their friend Mercutio and others, wearing the disguises primarily donned by maskers. So maskers are just like masquerade ball, fancy clothes. Okay. Romeo's anxious because of an ominous dream. Mercutio mocks him with a speech about a dream-giving queen of fairies. Okay, so let's get into it. So we're right at the bottom there. Scene 4, Romeo, Mercutio, and Benvolio with 5 or 6 of their other friends. Okay? And Romeo says, what? Shall this speech be spoke for our excuse, or shall we on without apology? The date is out of such prolixity. We'll have no Cupid hoodwinked with a scarf, bearing a Tartar's painted bow of lath, scaring the ladies like a crow-keeper, nor no without book prologue faintly spoke, after the prompter for our entrance. But let them measure us by what they will, we'll measure them a measure, and be gone. And Romeo says, give me a torch, I'm not for this ambling. Being but heavy, I will bear the light. Mercutio says, nay, gentle Romeo, we must have you dance. And you can't be tired by carrying that torch. You're going to need to dance at the party. And Romeo says, not I, believe me. You have dancing shoes. With nimble soles, I have a soul of lead. So stakes me to the ground, I cannot move. So he says, because of his breakup, his soul is made of lead, and he's weighed down, therefore he cannot dance. And Mercutio says, you are a lover. Borrow Cupid's wings and soar with them above a common bound. So they're both being sarcastic right now, right? And Romeo says, I'm too sore and pierced with this shaft to soar with this light feathers, and so bound I cannot bound a pitch above a dull woe. Under love's heavy burden do I sink. And Mercutio says, and to sink it should you burden love, too great oppression for a tender thing. Is love a tender thing? It is too rough, too rude, too boisterous, and it pricks like thorn. If love be rough with you, be rough with love. Prick love for pricking, and you beat love down. Give me a case to put my visage in, a visor for a visor. What care I? With curious eye doth coat deformities. Here are the beetle brows shall blush for me. And Benvolio says, come, knock and enter, and no sooner in, but every man betake him to his legs. So he's like, everyone should dance. Romeo says, a torch for me. Let wantons light of heart tickle the senseless rushes with their heels, for I am proverbed with the grandsire phrase, I'll be a candle holder and look on. The game was never so fair, and I am done. Okay, so he's just saying I can't do this. And Mercutio says, "Tut, done's the mouse, the constable's own word. If thou art done, we'll draw thee from the mire, or save your reverence love, wherein thou sickest, up on the ears. Come, we burn daylight, ho!" "Nay, that's not so. I mean, sir, in delay, we waste our lights in vain, lights by day. Take our good meaning, our judgment sits 5 times in that here once our 5 wits, or in our 5 wits. And we mean well in going to this mast, but 'tis no wit to go. Why, may one ask? I dreamt a dream last night. So Romeo is like, I can't go in. I can't dance. I can't see anyone. I can't go in because I had a dream last night. Mercutio says, and so did I. Well, what was yours? That dreamers often lie, and that asleep while they do dream things true. Oh, then I see Queen Mab hath been with you. We're going to learn a lot about Queen Mab, okay? Mercutio tells this story about Queen Mab and what Queen Mab in your dreams mean, okay? So I want you to think about Romeo is saying, like, I can't go in because I had a dream. And Mercutio says, oh, this is what your dream means, okay? Oh, then I see Queen Mab hath been with you. She is the fairy's midwife, and she comes in shape no bigger than an agate stone on the forefinger of an alderman, drawn with a team of little Atami over men's noses as they lie asleep. Her wagon, spokes made of lawn spinners' legs, the cover of the wings of grasshoppers, her traces of the smallest spider web, her collars of the moonshine's watery beams, her whip of the cricket's bone, the lash of film, her wagoner, a small gray-coated gnat, not half so big as a round little worm, pricked from the lazy finger of a maid. Her chariot is an empty hazelnut, made by the joiner squirrel or old grub, time out of mind the fairies' coachmakers, and in this state she gallops night by night through lovers' brains and the dream of love, on courtiers' knees that dream on kerseys straight, over lawyers' fingers who straight dream on fees, over ladies' lips who straight on kisses dream, which oft the angry Mab with blisters plagues, because their breaths with sweetmeats tainted are. Sometime she gallops over a courtier's nose, and then dreams he of smelling out a suit. And sometime comes she with a tithe pig's tail, tickling a parson's nose as he lies asleep. Then he dreams of another benefice. Sometime she driveth over a soldier's neck, and then dreams of cutting foreign throats, of breeches, embuscados, Spanish blades, of heaths 5 fathom deep, and then anon drums in his ear, at which he starts and wakes, and being thus frighted, swears a prayer or two, and sleeps again. This is that very Mab that plats the manes of horses in the night, and bakes the elf-locks in foul sluttish hairs, which once untangled with misfortune bodies, or bodes. This is the hag, which maids lie on their backs, that presses them and learns them to fight or first to bear, making them women of good carriage. This is she. So all of that, okay, is all about Mercutio mates up this Queen Mab, and Queen Mab goes in and basically, like, says, like, if you're in love, then you are going to, like, then you need to be in love. If you're a lawyer, you're going to dream about fees. If you're a lady, you're going to dream about kisses. Like, she is like a prophecy fairy that comes around, and whatever your dream is, that's Queen Mab telling you to go and do it, okay? So Queen Mab is like a prophecy love fairy that Mercutio makes up about dreams. And Romeo says, peace, peace, Mercutio, peace. Thou talkst of nothing. True, I talk of dreams, which are the children of an idle brain, beget of nothing but vain fantasy, which is as thin of substance as the air, and more inconsistent than the wind, who woos even now the frozen bosom of the north, and being angered puffs away from thence, turning his side to the dew-dropping south. This wind you talk of blows us from ourselves. Supper is done, and we shall come too late. So Mercutio says, like, I'm talking about dreams. They're just a fantasy. Don't worry about them. They're just dreams, okay? So Mercutio says, like, dude, they're just dreams. Don't worry about them. All that's made up. Like, don't worry about it. But Romeo says, I fear too early, for my mind misgives. For some consequence yet hanging in the stars shall bitterly begin this fearful date. With this night's revels, and expire the term of a despised life closed in my breast by some vile forfeit of untimely death. But he that hath the steerage of my course, direct my sail, O lusty gentleman. Strike, drum. So Romeo says, no, this dream means something. I had a dream that I met an untimely death, and this course got me there. Okay? He says that where he's going, his path right now, is leading him to an untimely death. We'll have to see what that means. Thank you all for listening. Make sure that you answer the exit slip at the end of this, okay? So underneath this link, there's an exit slip that is all about dreams, okay? And what dreams mean to different people. As we move into tomorrow, tomorrow is like the first big scene, a scene that you've probably heard of before. I want you to think about Romeo's last few lines. By some vile forfeit of untimely death, but he that hath the steerage of my course, direct my sail. Okay? Let's see what happens. Bye, y'all.